Good morning, everyone. Satsang Astrology here. So today it's Saturday, the 5th of September, 2020. And I already wrote and spoke a lot about the last few months of this year and how challenging, to say the least, they are. So I wanted to take a peek at 2021 and see what is in store for us. So what I prepared was a little presentation and a kind of superficial exploration of the Jupiter-Saturn transit over the USA chart and the astrology of eclipses and so on. Very superficial, just to take a peek at what is going to happen. If you like this kind of videos from me, please subscribe to the channel, and I will really appreciate if you give me your thumbs up, or make a comment or ask questions. And here is the information where you can contact me. I write daily astro transits in Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, MeWe. So I hope to see you there. And for now, I thank you for watching. Welcome to this presentation, and let's get started. So for this exploration, I will use the USA chart for July 4th, 1776 at 1713:55. And I will use this house for the kind of calculations that I made. I used the whole sign houses, although I will show you the other kind of house configuration that we can use as well, and the variations that we find if we use the other kind of house calculations. And again, for those who are not familiar with zodiac houses, they are these lines of division between in this case, separating signs, but not always do they separate signs. So these lines are 12 lines that mark different areas of the chart and different areas of focus on the life of a person, in this case, in the life of the country. I will talk about how Jupiter and Saturn will enter the, they are transiting now the second house of the country chart. The second house is about resources, and this conjunction Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter has been operating on the second house for a long time, especially Pluto since 2008. What marked was the complete transformation of the economic reality of the country. So because second house focuses on finances, the financial status, financial institutions of the country, including the sovereign geographic territory, assets, the treasury, the revenue, money-making institutions, and industries, banks, the creators of money, right? The stock exchange, money markets and trade, and also export and money lent to other nations. It also includes the food that is produced, crops and essential supplies. So all that has been on focus since 2008 with the entrance of Pluto there. But now, with the conjunction with Saturn early in January, right, early in the year, I wanted to say, what happens is the restructuring of the economy, restructuring of everything that has to do with the resources of the country. And we've seen now with the COVID-19 crisis, how the whole economy is topsy-turvy, upside down, and we are trying to see what is it that we're going to do with this, with the economy. Pluto will be there until 2023, 24, because it will go to Aquarius and come back into Capricorn. So around 2024, Pluto would have finished the complete transmutation of the economy. And okay, so what happens is that Jupiter and Saturn will enter Aquarius on winter solstice or summer solstice, which is 21st of December. And I have a video or two videos about that conjunction in Aquarius, and I'll refer you to watch those videos that are very informative about what is going to mean for you personally and for the countries all over the world. So what happens is that on the USA chart, it will enter the third house, which is Aquarius here. And remember, this for this analysis, I'm using ex professo the whole sign houses. Every sign is a house. I wanted to make that distinction because I will show you later what that gives for the different kind of house system. But the third house of a nation governs cities, right, where civilization is centered, transportation, trade, commerce, communication, elementary education, neighboring nations, agreements, contracts for business. So it is the third house, it is the environment. So it will be associated with neighborhoods, local neighborhoods, commuting, for example, in the realm of communications, it means letters, postal service, also reports, messages, internet, gossip, national rumors, internet, and the information that comes through internet and all the technology of communication devices, social media, print press, and virtual press, radio, TV, and all kinds of channels of communication, telephone, and speech, language, written word, but also in transportation, it means that we talk about mobility. I was mentioning commuting to work, for example, short distance transportation and transit by car, train, bike, motorcycles, especially bikes. But it also includes roads and bridges. And it's the house, third house is also the house of elementary schooling. And in regards to that, it is associated with learning languages, advertisement, public education, and learning in general, and teaching, and also, of course, teachers. So it also rules other things like propaganda, propaganda and the communication that, for example, any kind of institutions may give. So it is the house of communication, transportation, and education, elementary education. So we, with Jupiter and Saturn entering this house, it will be the start of a long period, a 20-year period around, of a restructuring of those subjects that I just listed, right? Now, what does it mean to have Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius? Okay, we have, let's see, Jupiter. Jupiter spends 1 year in Aquarius in the third house of the US chart. Saturn will spend there 2.5 years. So we can see technology development, for example, restructure and expansion. We can see wide access to internet, although with stricter regulations. Probably there will be a spread of public transportation, increase in public transportation, and a decrease on individual transportation, right? Because Aquarius rules groups of people in society in general, public services. So there could be also reconstruction or construction of bridges. And definitely we have already seen, since Saturn was visiting Aquarius for a while, we already see how the restructuring of elementary education is coming up, and it will be spread throughout the world in general, right? There will be also expansion or reconfiguration of cities, right? Probably people will move from cities to the suburbs, but still within the city. So reorganization of local neighborhoods. Cities will expand sideways. There will be probably wider, but spread out. And the expansion of suburbs, right? Now that's for Jupiter. Now Saturn, this is a list of Saturn aspects to Uranus, because as Jupiter will fly from Aquarius in 1 year, and it will be, I think by the end of the year, it will be already in Pisces, although it will come back in retrograde for 5 months or so. So this is a cycle. Saturn square Uranus, because Uranus is in Taurus. So as soon as Saturn enters Aquarius, it will start the square to Uranus, and that will happen several times, as we are going to see. But I went to and explore back in history when the synodic cycle of Saturn conjunct Uranus, right, started. And it started in February 12, 1988. And the conjunction of Saturn and Uranus happened in the end of Sagittarius, the critical degree between the 29th and 30th degree of Sagittarius. And that was falling on the first house of the USA. So this synodic cycle talks about the transformation of the identity of the country, right? Because Saturn is the traditions, how the things were done, right? In the past, how things have been always done, and it also talks about Saturn is regulation, restrictions, etc. But Uranus, on the other hand, is the sudden changes and unexpected, surprising, and eccentric things that are brought out of the box. So this conjunction happens 3 times in February, June, and October. So throughout 1988. And I explored just a little bit to give you a couple of hints on what started then. If you remember, it was 1988 when George W. Bush was elected president, or yeah, I think it was president. And Mikhail Gorbachev started his leadership in Russia. Well, by that time, it was not Russia yet, but it was the starting of the opening of the Russia country, right? Because after that, in the following year, 1989, it was the fall of the, well, it started the fall of the Berlin Wall. So this synodic cycle started, right? Uranus breaking Saturn. Uranus breaking structures, breaking the limits, breaking the traditions, breaking things that have been standing for thousands of years, right? Saturn rules mountains, rocks, the Wall of China, castles that have been standing for centuries, right? Saturn rules things that are steady, solid, and Uranus comes and breaks. Uranus is the earthquake that rumbles the earth and breaks the mountains. So this is the energy of this synodic cycle between Saturn and Uranus. We see the first quarter square was the Waning Square, and it happened in 1999, also 3 times going into May of 2000, right? So then we have the Waning Square. I didn't get the dates for the opposition. Let me see if I got them here. No, I didn't get the opposition, but I bet that was significant as well. So the Waning Square is what happening right now. next year, I mean. In the waning square is the last quarter square coming to the conjunction again that will happen in June 28, 2032. So that's the end of the cycle of Saturn, Uranus. They will conjoin then. But right now, we have all these squares that are happening 2021 and 2022. So we can count on having Saturn square Uranus for a year and more than half, because the last, not exact, but within, I mean, within the degree, until October 24th, 2022. So we can expect the integration of this breaking of Saturnian themes. Uranus is breaking with tradition. Uranus is breaking with everything that we thought it was solid and it was steady forever and ever. It won't. Uranus is breaking everything that was solid. So with these squares, it is possible to have earthquakes, significant earthquakes around the Earth. As I said, because Uranus is the breaking of the rocks against Saturn. And plus Uranus rules, core rules, Aquarius. So Saturn, even though he is in his traditional home, I think Uranus has an upper hand here. So, okay, let me explain what Jupiter will do in square to Uranus. Because Jupiter will square Uranus only once, January 17, 2021. As I said, he's gonna fly the year over Aquarius, and he's only making one square in January, and that will be enough, let me tell you. So there will be unexpected, surprising, and traveling results in travelers, travels, also setbacks in the judicial system. Jupiter is the judicial system, and social legal problems will arise. Religion and ideologies. There will be serious disturbances in believing the meaning of things, the meaning of the ideas. Also disturbance in social groups that are together for a cause, you know, especially humanitarian causes. And also there will be a downward effect on higher learning and higher learning institutions. So people won't go for higher learning as much as they did before. And the higher learning institutions will go down, as well as organized religions. For example, they will probably be challenged by new data that is very against the ideas of traditional religions, right? Because there will be innovative, eccentric, and new information, scientific information that will probably be controverting the principles of beliefs and faith. So there'll be losses and setbacks. Let me just check the degree. So yeah, that's very important. And why is that precisely? Is because the square between Uranus and Jupiter will be at 6 degrees 44 Aquarius. Jupiter will be at 644 Aquarius. And so it will be exactly on top of the south node of the USA chart. As you see here, this shoe horse horseshoe shape. It is the south node of the moon, and this is very karmic, and it talks about the past, things that are already served the purpose and are ready to be left behind. So we are probably be challenged by Uranus in Taurus. You don't see here the transit, but let me change the share, and I will show you the chart here with the transit, so you can. So this is the chart of the USA with the porphyry house system. And as you see here, the south node of the moon is 6 degrees 36. And Uranus, but I have another chart with, just a second. This one. This one, okay. So here, you see Saturn at 7 degrees. In this chart, we have Uranus at 7 degrees. This is the perfect square between Saturn and Uranus, right? And as you see here again is the porphyry house system. But Jupiter square Uranus will be at 6 exactly on top of the south node of the moon, which, as I said, means that we are leaving behind all that is relating to Jupiterian themes, higher learning, higher education, the vision of the world, and the travels, you know, air travel, long distance travel, ideologies, religious institutions, and the judicial system. As I'm repeating, but this is what the south node is leaving behind. Things that don't serve us anymore will be changed by the shock of Uranus in Taurus. And the other thing is that Jupiter is the planet that rules the ascendant of the United States. So we can safely predict that those shocks caused by Uranus and Jupiter will definitely change the identity of the United States of America. So there will also, Jupiter is also the traditional ruler of Pisces. So we, as we see, let me go back to the presentation here. So we see Jupiter is, as I said, traditional ruler of Pisces, and Pisces in this kind of house system calculation is the 4th house. And the 4th house is it talks about the people, right, of the country. It talks about the land, the actual geographic sovereignty over the land, right? Right. So it is also the house that is in mundane astrology, meaning is the themes for countries, not for people, but it's farmings, crops, landowners, real estate, right? And it's also because it is opposite the 10th house, it's everything and everybody that opposes the authorities. So it's the country, the land, and it's also resources that are buried underneath the earth in this land, and the land property of this country, which is, for example, there could be trouble finding water, water supplies, gas, and the house of this house, the 4th house and the 1st house will need attention. And the 1st house is the identity, the personality the country shows to the world, and the image or the reputation. And this square with Uranus and Jupiter on the south node of the moon will mean that the luck of the country will diminish significantly. The reputation, probably, because it also talks, it is opposing the descendant, right, which is allies, it is the other countries that are partners or allies, and so that will also affect the agreements that we have with other countries. Okay, so I found this very significant because the south node is there. So now for Saturn squaring Uranus, let's go back here. For Saturn squaring Uranus, as I said, from Saturn will be in Aquarius, Uranus in Taurus. So this will mark a significant difference of opinion with authorities in the communication realm. There will be probably restrictions, limitations that can arise in the spread of information. We can probably expect changes, radical and surprising changes in communication and the spread of information. So things in this area, the 3rd house, will take a long time. For example, if we're waiting for the results of the polls in November, December, it will take a long time because of the ingress of Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius will be December 21st. And so Saturn is dragging the feet along, and Jupiter is increasing the dragging. So it will take a long time, and it will require very hard work to have the information and to access communication. Probably the internet will be under much control and regulation. also the status of will be and the status and recognition will be very, very hard to gain, to be obtained. So this period is a period of in the second house, as I said, because as you saw with the porphyry house system, it is still the second house. The first part of Aquarius falls still in the second house. So there will be a period of scarcity, and the economy will be very weak, probably a deep recession, and problems with finances and money and resources, problems with food supply. It also will require much hard work to solve issues that were neglected before, and it will require us considerable sacrifices will be required of us. Okay, so let's see. Other influences will be there are 4 eclipses in the axis of Gemini and Sagittarius with the North Node in Sag. And so this, as you see, is the ascendant and descendant. So it will affect the identity and the reputation that the US puts out into the world, and it will also affect the partners in the world. So the eclipses, for example, the May 25th will be at 5 degrees of Sagittarius, where Haumea is. I talked previously in other videos extensively about Haumea. I will refer you to my blog as well, where I have a very detailed report on what Haumea means, but its fertility is the regeneration of nature in the country. So, and the capacity to give birth to life. So then that will be also within 3 degrees or so will also, it's a lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, meaning that we have the, in May, we will have the sun in Gemini and the moon in Sagittarius. So the sun will be on top of Uranus, almost 5 degrees Gemini. And so again, the sun is the authority of a country. In the US case, the sun is the ruler of the 9th house of international affairs. So there will be surprises about that with this May eclipse. And then the following in June is a solar eclipse in Gemini, which is on top of Mars. So I really don't like that because it is on top of the, it is on the descendant of the country, and near the cusp of, see, we have 13 degrees. Gemini is the cusp of the 7th house in porphyry or any other house system. You can see the line there. Okay, so Mars will be close to the 7th house cusp, and 19, 20 degrees roughly on Gemini, And so that will mean an activation of hostilities coming from outside, from other countries, or anyways, then you can continue to check these other eclipses. The most significant will be December the 4th, right, at 12:22 Sag. And this is a solar eclipse on top of the ascendant of the country. So that will be very significant for the reputation and the personality that the country has in the world. What is the country known for? So that will be a new beginning for that matter. So those influences are very significant, but there is something else that I want to show you, because there is another calculation called profection. And profections are calculations that are done, if I can, let me stop this and see if I can find, okay, here. I will share a graphic where you can see, just a second, patience. Okay. Okay, so because it's easier for people to see graphically what I'm talking about. Okay, so when you are born, right, on your birthday, you are here, right? This is the ascendant where you come to be born. And then for every year of life, there is a focus on one different house. When you are 2 years old, you focus on here, on food, right? What you eat. The third house is the third year of life, where you start learning words and putting things and words together, labeling things, okay? And then fourth, five, for example, the 5th house is when you learn to play and have joy. The 5th year is when you are learning to solve differences and make discernment, for example, preparing to have relationships, right? Because in 6, when you're 6, you start schooling, you go to school, and you're learning to negotiate, right? In order to establish in the 7th year relationships, and so on and so forth. So, and this wheel goes around and around all your life. Every year of your life, there is a focus on one house, different house. So let me stop this and go back to what I was about to explain, because for the United States chart, the year 2021, from the birth, July 4th, 2020 to the next birthday in 2021, the profection house where the United States is focusing is the 5th house, right? So for a country, this is the meaning of the 5th house. The ammunition of a town under attack, ambassadors and diplomats, all public places of enjoyment, because the 5th house is the house of enjoyment, of having joy, right? And the pleasures of life. The school and education system, specifically high school, middle school, high school, the national birth rate, right? It rules children in the country, and any social issues related to children. It's also the society's views on sexual issues and any kind of pleasurable, enjoyable issues. So, and this is from a book from Deborah Halding, where she lists all the meanings of houses for mundane astrology as well, general and mundane astrology. But what happens after July 2021, the United States will be focusing on 6th house matters. So the nation's food reserves, especially grains, and the farming industry will be highlighted during this 21-22 year. And the public record keeping, such as institutions like libraries, bookkeeping, archivists, public data clerks, and also 6th house is, because the 6th house is the house of imbalances, things that we need to fix, things that are out of whack, and we need to apply discernment, right? Because it's the Virgo house. We need to, natural house. It is the place where we need to apply discernment and separate the wheat from the chaff. So we need to find the things that don't work and repair them. So there's the house of imbalances. There could be also legal imbalances, legal problems. So it's the house of the working classes and public employees, services such as civil services and armed forces, the police when they serve people, factories, trade unions, social security services, unemployment insurance, disability allowances, and public assistance like public health care, national vulnerability to illnesses, right? Because they could be included the epidemics here, in this case, the pandemic, widespread diseases, and the vulnerability, because Virgo is that place when we are out of whack and we are not protected. So we need to find ways to come back to balance, which will happen in the year 22-23, when the United States focuses on the 7th house, and they start building new, different ways of relating with others, with other countries, right? Relationships with other countries. So 21-22, the United States will be learning how to put things, repair things that are not working well. So, okay, so these are the references that I used for this presentation. The Deborah Halding book is, I think it's called The Temples of Temples or something like that. It is found in skyscript.co.uk. My charts are from Time Passages software, from Astrograph. I looked up the dates in the website Cafe Astrology, and you can go to my blog, Satsang Astrology, for those articles that I refer to in the presentation. I would like to go back to this slide to go back to the squares, so you can take note of these waning squares that will happen February 17 between Saturn and Uranus, 2021 at 7 degrees. So that also, if you like to see your personal birth chart and you have any points or planets at 7 degrees, in June 14th, 2021, the square will be at 13 degrees. In December, it will be Christmas Eve of 2021. The square will be at 11 degrees. And then the following year in 2022, the square will be between September 17th and October 24th, and it will happen between the 18 and 19 degrees in that range. It's within, is less than 1 degree, I would say, is about 30 minutes different. It's not exact, but it's like the same. So Saturn will be squaring Uranus, tradition against innovation, right? Conservatism against innovation and progression, progressive, you know, conservative and progressive. There will be for, since December, we can say December 2020 until October, November 2022. It's a long period of clashes between what, between the past and what is bringing us into the future. So I hope this presentation helped you have a vision of what is coming, because we are now submerged in this crisis, these crises, because there is not only the virus, so many things happening at the same time. And as I said in previous videos, we have this last 3 months of 2020 with extra challenging events. So I wanted to have a future vision into the following years, and I hope this presentation helps you to open your mind to what is coming. And generally speaking, this is a process of evolution that will take several years, probably until 2025, 2026. And even though I'm talking about the US, the United States in this presentation, this Saturn-Uranus square will affect the whole world. So the themes of conservatism and progressive ideas clashing against each other, we will see around the world everywhere. So just to give you an idea, and this is just a superficial analysis. As we go on, I will go deeper into the analysis, and especially I will talk about personal influences of these transits and eclipses and everything. So tune in and keep in touch. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.